wow, this CGI is great. No, it's not. Yes, it is.
What's up guys, welcome to another video. Today we're reviewing The Matrix Reloaded. This film came out in 2003 and was directed by Lana and Lily Wachowski and stars Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss. Now before we start, don't forget that like button, subscribe to post notification bell so you know if I have every video, and let's just start. Let's start talking about the good. So all the actors and actresses in this film, they're all fantastic, especially Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Lawrence Fishburne, and Hugo Weaving. They're all very, very good in this film. The opening sequence I thought was great. It was a great opening sequence. It works for the film, and I thought it was entertaining. So the opening sequence, I had fun with it. The cinematography, which of course includes the shots, the cameras, the lighting, it was great. The cinematography, the whole entire film looks good. Looks similar to The Matrix, so the directors did a good job with the cinematography for this film. The slow motion shots, now they're good, but they're sort of dated. While I was rewatching it, it looks okay, but now it probably would not look good. If this was a new movie that just came out now, obviously it would not be up to par. The first act of the film. Now, I thought the first act of the film was okay. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was just okay. It was watchable. The second act of the film is very, very entertaining. Hugo Weaving, awesome. Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss have a lot to do in that second act of the film, so I thought it was entertaining. The villain return of Agent Smith, who's of course played by Hugo Weaving, it was fantastic. Agent Smith is one of my favorite villains, favorite action villains of all time, and his return in this film was awesome. Agent Smith is once again a fantastic villain, but in terms of speaking role, he's not in it that much. He's in it, but he doesn't speak that much. So I would have preferred him to have more dialogue, but it was fine. The action sequences. Now, there are some awesome action sequences in this film, especially that mansion fight sequence with Neo versus all the Agent Smiths. It was awesome. The car chase with Trinity and Morpheus versus the Agent Smiths, again, fantastic. And the sequence that follows it, there's a hallway fight sequence between Neo and Morpheus versus all the Agent Smiths, and it was awesome. It's that mansion fight sequence, easily one of the best fight sequences in this film, and it was very entertaining. The score by Don Davis is great. It's a great score. It fits the film perfectly, fits the futuristic tone of the film, so I thought the score worked. The third act of the film. Now, the third act of the film is awesome. It is an awesome third act. I like the third act of The Matrix probably a little more than the third act of this film, but it's still awesome, very entertaining third act. The ending sequence. I thought the ending sequence was good. It was a fine ending, and it fits well. It's a good transition for The Matrix Revolutions, so I thought the ending sequence was good. That's all the good that I have. Now let's move on to the bad. So there is some cringe-worthy acting in this film, which is sort of weird because the first film, all the acting was very, very good. In this film, some of the acting is not up to par, so I did not really enjoy some of the actors and actresses in this film. There are some boring sequences within this film, and by boring, I mean very boring. The boring sequences, I almost tried to skip it, but I didn't because I watched the whole thing, but there are some boring sequences that don't only last for like 1 to 2 minutes. They last for 7, 8 minutes. There are also unnecessary characters and character development. I didn't care about anyone in this film except Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus. Obviously not supposed to care about Hugo Weaving, Agent Smith, because he's the villain. But he was obviously one of the best characters in this film. But Neo, Trinity, Morpheus, and Agent Smith were the only characters I cared about. The rest of them, I didn't care whether they lived or died. There is a weird dance sequence. It is a slow motion dance sequence that is one of the weirdest sequences I've ever seen in an action film. It did not fit the film at all. This is a futuristic film. I don't know why they had that dance sequence inside this film. And it wasn't just like, a party sequence, but it was just awful. It was an awful sequence. It was weird, and did not fit the film, the tone of the film at all. There is a lot of weird video game CGI in this film, especially Neo versus the multiple Agent Smith sequence. But this one is the sequence that's outside, and it's horrible. It's terrible. The CGI looks very, very bad for that sequence, which is surprising because the mansion fight sequence, I thought it was very entertaining. It was fun. But this one, I don't know what the directors did with that fight, with this fight sequence outside. It did not look good at all. That's about it. The Matrix Reloaded is a decent sequel. I recommend it to Matrix fans, but I highly recommend that you watch The Matrix over this film. So I'm going to give The Matrix Reloaded a C+. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the post notification bell so you can know for every video. I'm Peter. Thank you for watching.